Hi folks, I'm Hub Arkush along with Kevin Fishbain and Nate Atkins, and we're here to tell you what to look for on the defense of the Chicago Bears in Bourbonnais. It is training camp time. We're almost there. And I'll start with this, Kevin. You can't tell the players without a scorecard. I mean, the defense is as unsubtle as we've ever seen. I think that's probably a good thing after the poor performance the last couple of years, but intense competition at every single position.
Here's what we know. Kyle Fuller's going to start at corner. Anshel Roll's going to start at safety. Pernell McPhee's going to start. Jeremiah Ralph is going to start somewhere on the defensive line. That's about it. You got so many positions up for grab, especially in that front seven. You have some new cornerbacks, maybe position competition at safety, but I think, Hub, as you mentioned, a lot of eyes are going to be looking at that front seven, how Vic Fangio decides to start his linebackers, defensive line, who plays where, and what it looks like when we get into the preseason games.
Nate, we'll start up front. Jeremiah Ratliff is a guy who is not a true 30 front type player. He's really a 3 technique, but he played the 0 and a 30 front for the Cowboys, went to 4 straight Pro Bowls. John Fox comes in and says, we like him at the 5 technique. Well, they've already gotten off that. We saw in minicamp he was lining up on the nose. Other than that, there are no true 30 front defensive linemen on this team. They've brought in Jarvis Jenkins. They've drafted Eddie Goldman. Maybe with these guys, we don't know if Lamar Houston ends up playing some 5 technique, maybe even Pernell McPhee, Ego Ferguson, Will Sutton. Where are the fits here?
That's exactly the question going into training camp, and we don't, after watching them in voluntary workouts and in mini camps, we don't know that answer yet. And it's interesting, some of the guys, you're right, you could pencil them in as a nose or a 5 tech, guys like Jarvis Jenkins, who's been a 5 tech, and maybe he's better at nose because he didn't play that well at 5 tech. And then guys like Will Sutton, I mean, where does he fit in? And even Eddie Goldman, I mean, he's the one that you spend a high pick on, but we've seen very little. It's just hard to even guess with some of these guys right now.
Well, it really is, and linebacker is more of the same, Kevin. We know Pernell McPhee is the big offseason free agent signing. He is hopefully that outside rush linebacker, but he will step up on the line on occasion. Inside, maybe John Bostic, maybe Christian Jones, maybe it goes on and on. Shea McClellan is competing. I love Mason Foster. On the other side, I think Sam Acho has the edge, but then you've got Willie Young and Jared Allen and David Bass and Cornelius Washington, all these guys trying to become outside linebackers who've been 4 technique ends.
Yeah, that's going to be Vic Fangio's biggest challenge, and he might look at it, I'm sure he's going to spin it as a positive. He's got a lot of options to choose from. I imagine Jared Allen is going to be that third down nickel specialty pass rusher. That's probably going to be what his niche is, what his role is. Lamar Houston, how does he come back from injury? Will Young coming back from injury and playing in a new position? That's where Sam Acho is kind of an interesting guy that I think fans should really keep an eye on in camp. He played this 3-4 outside linebacker at Arizona, had some good flashes, especially as a rookie, battled injuries. If he's fully healthy, maybe he's the starter outside McPhee, and we kind of just see Houston and Young and Allen mixed in. But you mentioned inside linebacker. That's going to be a really interesting competition because you got guys like Bostic and McClellan. It could be kind of their last chance with the Bears, and the Bears really like Christian Jones, and this could be a perfect spot for him.
Well, you look at that outside rush position, yes, you've got guys who've rushed the passer in Jones, in Jared Allen, and I love David Bass. But can they drop into coverage, Nate? I mean, you still have to do that in a 3-4 defense. So you're looking for complete linebackers, and really, Acho may be the only one on the roster on the outside. Mason Foster, probably the most complete guy inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Acho's probably the only one who's really shown that sort of drop-back ability from the outside spot. That's even something that Pernell McPhee talked about really working on this year. For all he's done, he's never done that. And so it's a new dimension to it. If they can get it down, it's going to really help with just disguising some of the packages and see who's rushing and who's not. But, I mean, it's a long work in progress.
Kevin, I was on the radio the other night with former Chicago Bears secondary coach Chris Harris, also, of course, played safety for the Bears and the Panthers under John Fox, and he made a great point. There is no difference in the secondary in the fronts in front of you. Doesn't matter if you're in a 3-4 or 4-3. In the secondary, it's all the same. Are you in man? Are you in zone? And do you have the talent? And that's the issue there. Antrell Roll is an upgrade at safety. We hope Kyle Fuller is good. Tim Jennings had a disappointing year after 2 Pro Bowl seasons last year. And other than that, again, you've got a bunch of names competing for these other spots.
Yeah, you got big questions, and they have a good defensive backs coach in Donatel to try to figure it out. And we think that Fuller is going to play better in the system that we expect to be more aggressive. And we really haven't seen that yet. We won't see it till the pads come on. Tim Jennings could be the nickel corner, and Alan Ball, somebody we really didn't see at all in voluntary minicamp because of an injury. They gave him starters money. Is he going to play a starting role? Tracy Porter looking to kind of rejuvenate his career in Chicago. You got some other young corners in that. At safety, we kind of expect Ryan Mundy, who's just a solid player, nothing spectacular, good leader, but don't be surprised if Brock Vereen challenges Adrian Amos, who was the draft pick. So there's going to be some questions to still fill out that secondary.
So here's the best tip we've got for you, folks. When you get to Bourbonnais, the Bears people will be handing out free rosters. Get the numeric and the alpha, because you're not going to be able to tell these guys apart without it. It's going to be the most competitive training camp we have ever seen on the defensive side of the football. And to get the best up-to-date, day-to-day reports, even hour to hour, stay right where you're at ChicagoFootball.com.